Is Bitcoin going to plummet again? If you are interested in this question, please follow me. Looking at the daily line, we can find that Bitcoin is constantly approaching. We have swapped around $25,000 before. We can find that if we mark the place of 25,000 with a white line, we tested many times in the early stage, including the resistance of this place. After we broke through later, we stepped on the support. Now we are teetering on this support because we in the short term, we have tested this position back and forth several times. Especially yesterday we closed another entity with the lowest closing price in recent months. So if we look at the daily line level, let us take a look at the volume of this daily line. You can also find that you can actually observe our three negative lines, which completely swallow up the previous positive line. And you can see that our volume and energy are able to cooperate. It is not that there is no volume to increase when it falls. Part of it is the real part, which can also completely eat up the front yang line. If we frame these 4K lines with a white frame, you can find that the rise in front of us has been completely swallowed up. So our front this wave of rising is completely unfounded. And you can also find that we closed yesterday on the daily line, which is the lowest point since we touched 26,000. Even I think yesterday's situation is very good. It may be necessary to break through the low point created by the pin insertion below us. In fact, I think the probability of falling below our position is very, very high. And it has a time limit, which is okay. We can talk about one. The rule of time is that you can see that we are at the top. And we oscillate for about 2 months. Okay, 55 days and 55 days is very close to 2 months. Then I think we will fall below and we will definitely fall within 2 months. Afterwards, it must break through within 2 months. If the shock has not broken down within 2 months, then this market will gradually create opportunities for bulls. If we measure it, we can find that if it is 55 days, it is the same as above. It is about October 13th, which is about a month or a little more. If we measure the time we have passed is about 15 days, then I personally think that it will fall below within a month. If it does not fall below within a month, then our market will probably not decline. Even if this time point is shortened, there is a chance. So next, I will think that if we say, we take the previous low, which is the low we created in the front, and the precise price is about 25,234. If it is broken, then I think we will have a wave of exhausted market next. Or we can mark the low point in front of us, which is about 24,750, which is about $400 to $500. If we come to this range, then we can break the low point in front of us, including this low point. Also, the low point we came from may be the accelerated stage of our decline. In fact, the market we are going through is very similar to the one we have gone through before. Well, let's take a look at us. This wave of decline is also suppressed by a trend line. Of course, the trend line is not necessarily perfect. What does it mean? It is not necessarily connected by needle points. It is the loosest one. If we say that it is okay to connect them like this. After all, there are slight gaps between each exchange. Indeed, these gaps will be eliminated by the traders who move bricks, or the system program institutions that move bricks, waiting for him to be leveled, but there is actually a slight gap between the spot contracts of each exchange. If we ignore these gaps, you can find that he is actually on the trend line as we said. I don't think so. The question is right. That's why I personally draw a trend line with a thicker line. Because I think the thickness of the line is meaningless in terms of a trend line. It doesn't matter whether the trend line is thick or thin. So I draw a comparison. Thick means that we look better. It's not too thin. It's too fine to be seen. In fact, in our position, I think it is very similar to when we were in this place before. In fact, we were also after we created a new high, and then we followed closely. There was a wave of turbulence. And there was no lack of such a large rebound in the middle of the decline. We may think it is okay now. So the subsequent decline was too violent. Our rebound at that time directly bounced 10%. What is the concept of 10%? If you are short, this 10% increase is very, very likely to sweep you out of the market. If you are a contract position, of course, you can only do short positions and you can only do short positions in this direction. You can actually see our pull up. If we take the starting point of the market and reach our highest point, it is about 9%. In fact, it is similar to the previous wave. Then you can see that after our rebound, it is actually at a level at our position at that time. Swap has also been tested before. In fact, if we correspond to the current market, it is equivalent to a swap of 25,000 US dollars. You can see that the resistance in this place is very clear. After stepping on the support, it will be supported after we break through. There is no struggle at all in this kind of slump where all the strength is exhausted. And the deep liquidity of this deep pending order is not enough at all. And no one takes the order. So he directly penetrates the market. Even if you still remember, in other words, if you had some contract charts in the market at that time, they broke this point and it was such an exaggeration that this downhill directly broke the previous point. In fact, we will also think that at present, if the position of 25,000 is broken, it is very likely that there will be another rapid and violent decline like our previous position. This is the position where the market decline is accelerating. If our price of 25,000 is dropped if it breaks. And this place is also the last bottom line of the bulls. If this place is broken, then I believe there will be no bulls. Or there will be no short-term takers. At this time, the market will be broken and there will be such a rapid. The decline has become a very likely trend. Well, let's cut the level a little bit and cut it to 4 hours. After 4 hours, you can find that the volume of our decline is actually not weak at all. If we observe our decline yesterday, the day before yesterday, we can observe this section, and you can find that its decline is actually very abundant. And its decline is gradually increasing. This can also show that we are actually at around 25,000. The support has actually become weak. If we say that our support at 25,000 is still very strong, then when we touch 25,000, we should have this very violent rebound. And it must be powerful. We found that our rebound situation was not very good at that time. You can find that he left quite weakly. And if we look at it from 4 hours, it also formed a short-term swap. For example, you can see that we fell no matter how we fell before our position, no matter how we test. Our closing line is above the white line. But you can see that our current market is already running below the white line. So I think that the support effect of 25,000 US dollars is gradually declining based on the current disk. He is gradually declining. He is gradually becoming unstable. Especially after we have experienced our wave of pulls. We can confirm this. In fact, the selling pressure on the side is very strong, otherwise there is no way to push the market back to the original level immediately after the burst. The position is even lower. In fact, the high point created by our news can also be used as a stop loss for the trend order. If we can return to this point in the short term, then I believe that the short seller is really just there is no chance. At least in the short term. So this place is indeed a place that can be used as a stop loss. But in fact, this price is still not very good, right? Well, let's take a look at Ethereum. I think that if you say short or if we talk about shorting and plummeting, Ethereum will be the target that we should short next. You can see that we are near the trend line at 123 to ensure an effective trend line. We must confirm at least 3 contact points. Otherwise, this trend will the line is an unconfirmed trend line. Do you still remember what level of market we broke out when we stepped out of this trend line on the daily line of Bitcoin? You can see that we were on the weekly. It will be clearer if you look online. At that time, after we broke the trend line, it caused a big plunge and went smoothly. If we made a contract, it would be very suitable. Because it didn't take a long time to hit a big distance shot. From a very far distance. You can see that our Ethereum is testing this price. And it is testing this level. If we cut the level down, you can also find that we are currently at the resistance of 1,700 US dollars and cannot go up. If we cut to the daily line, I believe it will be clearer. If we cut to the daily line, you can find that the price of 1,700 US dollars we just mentioned has been tested many times. I also think that this position is suitable as a trend list. If the stop-loss position returns to above 1,700 in the short term, then we may have to wait for this wave of short positions. You can find that the position in front of us supports resistance. And then supports this position here. It also had a relatively large rebound. And here we stepped into it. So I think this position is a place that can be used to operate. Especially since we are testing the trend line again. In fact, we have a chance to fall yesterday. Even if it is on a normal day. It can actually go down yesterday. But yesterday was if it goes on Friday. The decline is likely to occur on the 6th. On the 6th, there will be a gap. You can see the gap created by our previous plunge. And the follow-up will be very violent. If you directly pull the cover, then if you say if we fall on the 6th, it will also have a gap. And there is a high probability of coming back to cover it. Therefore, if we want to have a smoother decline, it must fall on our usual days. That is, from 1 to 5, and he will come out of a gap. This kind of decline is relatively smooth and there will be no big rebound. And everyone has also discovered that there is a gap at the position of 20,000. I think it is also our decline. If you want to participate in these trading opportunities, you are very welcome. You can click the Bybit link below the video. Now, as long as the KYC deposit is $100, you will immediately give you a Bitcoin contract position worth $1,000. This is true. The contract position means that as long as you make money, you can directly withdraw the coins and leave. If you lose money, it doesn't matter because this is a gift position. You are very welcome. You can help my video, like, subscribe, share and turn on the little bell. Which is the best for me. Thank you very much for your support. Bye bye.